All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to October, the very end of October, which may have something to do with those three skeletons that I see behind Juan Carlos there in Acadia. I'm assuming that's not lab workers that just were abandoned in the back of Juan Carlos's lab, and they have something to do with Halloween tonight. How are you, Juan Carlos, and how are things at Acadia?
Well, we're doing great. Right now, students are on break. So, these were, I would say, what was left behind once everyone left. But they come from the labs because we're doing work in the lab. So, they came to give me company this week while they do the lab work.
Fantastic. That's great. Yeah, so we wanted to record a little just an update of things that are going on around the Maple League here in October. And I thought I would kick it off with you and talk a little bit about some of the more recent Better Together sessions and maybe a few that are upcoming. So what's happening on the teaching and learning front?
Well, as always, the Better Together sessions have been really excited, and we have had the last two were Dr. Jonathan Hood from Saint of X, and then we had a panel with Danielle Pierce here from Acadia, then with three professors from Acadia, Lyndon Tremont, Jennifer Kershaw, and Donna Simon, and then Tony Robbins from Mount Allison. So we have a panel where they all join us, and we talked about it because their topic was oral assessment. So,
yes.
As usual, we get lots of people register and lots of people coming in. And then, of course, we have the recording that we will post, and then everyone has a chance to see this. Next week, we get Sasha LeWall from Mount Allison, and that has been a very popular session. So we already had, I think, between hours of posting the registration, we had 30 registrants, and now we're sitting at 50. So, we'll see what kind of people Sasha is able to pull up. And then on that front, at the end, towards December, we moved to the Maple League host, and that's when we bring people from other institutions. So we had planned, and still having plans, Lucy Gomez Vergara from the Gold Museum CENU of Cartagena, followed by Jason Lorendo from University of Lethbridge. But we got an extra host, an extra person we're hosting, rather. That's Dr. Tom Mitchell from Carnegie Mellon University, and he's been working on machine learning, and of course he has lots to say about artificial intelligence and how it looks like in education and how we can use it, or what have you. We will learn from him. So that's gonna come November 15th. So the session is the sessions are running, and we're really pleased with the breadth of topics and with the wonderful speakers we have had.
Yeah, it's always a great community. I try to get a few people in to watch it together with me on this big screen that I have in front of me in this room, which is a lot of fun as well when we can just sort of pause and watch it together. I really enjoy that. And then the last talk that I was at on oral assessment, it's always amazing how we think of like these as new ideas, and yet people have been doing kind of oral assessment, oral grading off of rubrics for a decade or more. And so some of the experiments in oral assessment have already kind of happened already, and it's great to see some new applications of it coming up. So it was very inspiring, for sure. Just recently, I had a little presentation that I gave myself to the Canadian Council for Advancement in Education, which was great. And I talked about the Maple League and interinstitutional collaboration. And that was a really good conversation I had with that group. The group is people in fundraising and advancement, not only at universities, but I was quite surprised at K-12 institutions as well. It was a nice big group. They had some great questions that they asked. And my message really was about how I think interinstitutional collaboration used to be a nice to have. Oh, that was nice and friendly if we worked together. But now it's becoming so important to our future in higher education that we really have to capture these lessons quickly and really work together. So I think the Maple League, again, I think it's a little ahead of the game that way, but it's great that it's inspiring not only our own collaborations, but collaborations amongst other networks as well. So it's really nice to see. And speaking of our collaborations together, I wanted to maybe you can update us on what's happening with the micro certificate in teaching and learning, some other plans that you have.
Yeah, it's so nice to hear that Maple League and we are there. We're part of this wonderful collaboration, and that comes through when we do things like the micro certificate. So the micro certificate of teaching and learning is going to run the third cohort. When we send out the application, we had a number of seats for each institution, and it was really hard to turn people down, which we kind of had to do, so that we ended up with a larger cohort that what we anticipated, but we're gonna run with it. We have 19 participants from the 4 institutions, and we had the first meetings for people to meet and greet from the other institutions, and that's exactly where I personally think that the magic happens. Once we get together and we start talking about our interests and our common goals and sometimes our common challenges and how we get at them, and how we work towards them, that's, in my view, where magic happens. So I'm really looking forward to see what this new cohort comes up with, because they have to come up with a project and work on it. And one of the things that was one of the participants said, does this have to be an individual project, or can we work, because they noticed that they have several commonalities in their work and how they approach teaching is what we're asking them to think about. And that was magic to my ears. And I said, well, we haven't done it, but that doesn't mean that we won't do it, So let's plan it. And I think this is going to be a different cohort, just because a few of them are planning. I think I will let you know when I hear more, but nice. I think we're leading down the community, real community work and doing more work together. So I'm really excited about the micro certificate.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, if you can't do collaboration together in the Maple League, where could you do it? So that's nice to see that people are starting to see themes emerging and working together, on various projects. Very inspiring for me. I just had a trip to all 4 of the institutions. In this trip, I met all of the presidents of the 4 Maple League institutions, and that was kind of because there's new presidents. So I was really excited to get up to Bishops and meet Sebastian Labelle-Grenier. That was the first time that I had met with Sebastian in person, and of course they have some amazing things happening right now at Bishops University. So many great initiatives. I think I was struck was when I met with all of the deans at Bishops, and they really talked about research and engaged research and some of the support that could be gained in working together as a Maple League Research Committee. So that was definitely on my mind. And then lately, with some of the announcements in Quebec around funding and some of the challenges that Bishops will have to address and will address, that was very topical as well. And so an incredible support throughout the Maple League for all of our members, especially Bishops University, and finding ways to support them the best way possible. And so in complete support of them. And then went off to Acadia, met the new president there. New is kind of the operative word here. And so met with Jeff Hennessy and had a great conversation with Jeff and a number of other people at Acadia. I was really struck with Jeff's effort to get inside classrooms and see what's going on and getting invited and visits to different groups. And he was talking to me about all the different subjects that he'd be able to experience in that little trip as well. And then off to Mount Allison and met with Robert McKinnon. And that was a lovely visit. So he's new into his interim role there at Mount Allison. And he was talking to me about research as well and engaged scholarship in the community and some of the practices that he's had success with in the past. And also met with Charlene Kelly, and it was right before they were doing the Business of the Arts Conference, which brought together a number of different communities from around the Maple League and beyond. And I think I can say that quite proudly that the group from Bishops, the students that came from Bishops, won the competition. So I think that's another shout out to the Maple League there as well. So that was great. And then coming back to St. FX, and of course, where I spend most of my days here, and chatting with Andy Haken. And one of the things I was chatting with him about was St. FX as a 4-season campus, and things that are going on in the summers. And then that made me think too, again, that's probably a challenge that all 4 of our Maple League institutions have. So I started to think about that puzzle from a Maple League perspective, and how could we get more action happening in the spring and summer, and how perhaps we could do that and share some of those ideas through the Maple League. So again, I always get inspired when I look at the Maple League and think about ways in which we can solve problems working together. And recently, we were at, Carlos and I were at the AAU Teaching Showcase, which was at Cape Breton University up the road. And I was certainly struck there with all of the participation from the Maple League, and especially the 2 Outstanding Teaching Award winners, which was Alinda Pierce and Rachel Hurst from Mount Allison and from St. FX. Which was incredible. They both had an opportunity to speak with the group, and I was very inspired by the lessons that they had taken away from the pandemic. Both of them really talked about that at length. Some of the grief that we still have to acknowledge through the pandemic, things that occurred, people suffering from long COVID, and things that we need to really come to grips with and understand what actually occurred during those years and is still going on as well today. But also building from some of the work that happened during the pandemic to respect that work and continue that work around equitable classrooms and access and things like that as well. So very inspired by their talks, and kind of wanted to get your impression, Juan Carlos, of what you took away from the AAU Teaching Showcase.
So the AAU Teaching Showcase, as always, was a very inspiring event. And I heard some wonderful talks from people from all across the institutions in the Atlantic. I heard a talk by Jack actually, and we also had a chance to do presentations. And what I really liked was also in doing the presentations, I did one by myself talking about allyship and decolonization, but then I did another one on a new plan we have about supporting leadership in higher education, and I did that with Erin Austin from St. FX. So it has allowed us to also show our work together outside of our institutions. But we had a big array of talks from colleagues from all across the Maple League, and it was wonderful. We had talks on decolonization. We had talks on student success. We have talks on the different experiences and the wonderful things that are being done in our campus. So I was really excited and happy, and I found that day too short, by the way. I did run from one session to another, and then I will miss, I tried to keep to schedule, but I remember missing one of your talks, Jack, because I went into the wrong room and then I couldn't walk away. But I ended up in a very interesting talk, so I don't mind, but it was very exciting, and it was nice to see so many people interested in making our spaces better. That's where it comes through, no matter what talk you go to.
Right. Yeah, it was great spirit, great fellowship, and really big shout out to Cape Breton University too, that organized a great day, wonderful spaces for all of us to get together and chat. And I thought they did a wonderful job of hosting the event. Really celebrating the Indigenous community as well, and talking about just so many land acknowledgements, but also deeply moving talks about indigenization across our institutions and what's happening at Cape Breton as well. So very excited by that too. I've got a couple things going on. Most recently, I just got back from Washington, D.C., where I was at the International Society of Educational Planning did a little presentation there on interinstitutional collaboration, again, using the Maple League as a bit of a model. And that sprung forth with a number of conversations around other folks around the world that are doing things in collaboration as well. And next week, I'm at the International Council on Open and Distance Education. Excited to make some connections there, not only for myself here at St. FX and our open learning platform, but also the inspiration that we gained from Open Acadia, which has been in place for quite a while and does some amazing work. And then in Mount Allison, sort of relaunching a little bit of that continuing education and open learning as well. And so I've had some discussions with folks up there. And so really want to bring back sort of what are the evolving trends in open and distance education and how can we learn from those around the world in the Maple League. So excited by that. And Juan Carlos, I think you've got some trips that you're planning as well pretty soon.
Yes, now that our fall session is in full blast and it's all running, I'm gonna go and visit the school. So I'm gonna start by Bishops at towards the end of November, still next month, and I'm interested in finally seeing face to face all these wonderful people I've seen online and I've worked with along this semester, and then I'll make my way through St. FX and Mount Allison. But wait for me, I'll be there towards the end of November.
Okay, perfect. Well, that's it for Juan Carlos and I. Again, just certainly. I think Juan Carlos and I are just absolutely honored to be in these roles and get access to all four of the institutions and all the great minds that are here, and so many people doing such heartfelt, tremendous work across the Maple League. So very excited to be able to represent the group, and we'll look forward to getting in touch with you in November and sharing more of our updates.
Excellent. Thank you, Jack.
Okay, bye now.
Bye.